The content of this film is M, mature audiences. Recommended for persons 18 years and over. This film may contain sexual scenes, violence, or coarse language.
Hello and welcome. This is Midday News. Thanks for joining us. People from all over New Highland Province flocked to TVWAN Stadium for the funeral mass of their late provincial member and former Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea, Sir Julius Chen. Sir Julius returned home after his national state funeral program concluded in Port Moresby with a lie-in-state ceremony in the Grand Hall of Parliament House. His casket was handed over to the New Ireland provincial government. He spent some time in the provincial assembly to allow the political leaders of the province to pay their respect during the special provincial assembly meeting. Member for Namatanai Walter Snowbelt, who is Sir Jay's nephew, through his older sister, paid his respect. He broke into tears as he offered his condolences to his cousin and Lady Stella Cheng. As we speak, representatives from the 4 LLGs and the TVWAN DDA come forward to action customary obligations to their leader. Others, including the business community and representatives from other provinces, will come forward to do the same. Meantime, several of New Ireland's women leaders travel home to participate in the provincial funeral and burial program.
Man has a lot of belief, not a lot, but it believes in women in this province and in the country. Okay, history will tell you that in the national politics, he was there. When he was the Prime Minister, he ensured that women became secretary of the department. We thank the families of New Ireland and the families in Papua New Guinea for recognizing this great leader. And there's no one else who's going to say and pronounce that leadership. New Ireland, Papua New Guinea knows who this man is. And we really thank everyone, Papua New Guinea, New Ireland, especially our families, to making sure that this day today, the last respect through this church service is witnessed by everyone.
The autonomous region of Bougainville has lost its first vote for independence with the loss of Sir Julius Cheng. Baron Cheng, son of Sir Julius, made a point to highlight his father's biggest passion, the fight for autonomy and decentralization of powers from the national government.
In his capacity as New Ireland Governor since 2007, has been a strong voice for provincial autonomy, especially for New Ireland, ensuring that his time in office was spent making continuous efforts to ensure the province was ready to take over most functions that are now still handled by the national government. In 2018, then Prime Minister Peter O'Neill announced that 3 provinces would be granted autonomy status: Enga, East New Britain, and New Ireland. Sir Julius at that time described the government's decision as one of the most gratifying moments of his political career. He said autonomy will mean more freedom for those provinces to manage their own affairs.
Bougainville, Elas Bougainville, first vote for you, long independence, you go finish. Sorry, you know got more talk long this plan. But he's tried. When he was Prime Minister, he was the first one to have a peace conference in Solomons with Sam Kaona. He was the first Prime Minister who had a regional peacekeeping force. One time commander, Long Tonga, and that failed after Kango Beach. I'm asking all military belong me plan now or someone. Now we talk through cabinet ministry and commander, only talk kissing this law line or line lampait. So he, as a Prime Minister of the day, he has accepted that he made the decision as chairman of NEC. long send line. But you may go long trial, I was there for Holly's trial. Commission of Inquiry, every day, Mr. Pontemem. Na mi hari mo kita tok-tok, or kita gupla na no good na, or kita something. If you want to know, you look at the Commission of Inquiry, every little word. He's been exonerated.
Sir Julius has for years said his province of New Ireland is ready for autonomy. He said simply that the province can run the province better than the national government. He emphasized that the province is clear on exactly where they want to go and how fast, what priorities to achieve, different to that of the national government priorities. His son Byron Chen emphasized this at the National House Cry program, highlighting Sir Julius' role in the defining chapter to Bougainville's history was police minister and regional member for Bougainville. He said Sir Julius was a great part of the process of peace, love, and reconciliation.
History and the importance of leadership-guided wisdom, understanding, and most importantly, unity. While we mourn his passing, we also honor his lifetime of service and the immense contribution he made to the nation. May his legacy continue to inspire the leaders of today and tomorrow, and to strive for peace, inclusivity, and most importantly, national progress.
Maricela Kelleton, TV1 News.
Port Moresby General Hospital is set to make history with Papua New Guinea's first kidney transplant service, marking a milestone achievement for the nation and the Pacific region. On January 31st, two vital machines, the human leukocyte antigen and the therapeutic drug monitoring device, were commissioned at PMGH, eliminating the need to send blood samples overseas. Acting Executive Manager for Medical Standards, Dr. Nora Dai, described this as a game changer. PMGH CEO Dr. Paki Mulumi thanked the National Fisheries Authority for funding 10 million kina towards the program. Dr. Mulumi added that finalizing the transplant policy and a legal framework remains a key step, with the goal of conducting the first kidney transplant as a Golden Jubilee gift to the people of Papua New Guinea. The 2025 legal year for the National Capital District was officially opened Monday at the St. Martin Anglican Church in Port Moresby. The event was themed Enhancing Public Confidence in the Judiciary. Led by a parade hosted by the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary, the legal year opening was witnessed by the judges of the Supreme and National Courts, chief magistrates, lawyers, and staff of the legal fraternity. The event was themed Enhancing Public Confidence in the Judiciary. When delivering his keynote address, Minister for Justice Pila Ninengi emphasized the importance of ethical conduct and highlighted the need to ensure ethics is practiced when delivering justice to the people of Papua New Guinea.
Reminded of standards and ethics that must always upheld at all times and at all levels. As we know, our ethical standard is required from all judges and lawyers.
Ninengi emphasized two important points that are affecting the legal system: delay of judgment and content of lawyers.
Concern for the people of this country regarding amount of time taken by our legal system to deliver justice. According to legal and haggling debates, 171 cases have been brought to court concerning professional conduct of lawyers.
Sharing similar sentiments, Chief Justice Segib Salika urged judges to produce results on time to ensure that justice is served and delivered on time.
Not delivering decisions as soon as possible, because justice delayed is justice denied, and that principle is a long-standing principle that has been with us since we graduated from the law school.
Salika warned judges that a 6-month strategy would be implemented for judges to deliver a matter. If they do not deliver within 6 months, it may lead to the termination of their commission.
We'll give a warning to a judge for the first 6 months to deliver after hearing a matter, and that once that matter has lapsed after 6 months, then something else will happen that will come back to the Chief Justice to administer whatever is necessary on his behalf to make the judges write their decisions.
Salika further called on lawyers to assist judges with essential documents that are needed to fast-track court processes. The Kokoda Track Foundation, in partnership with the PNG Department of Health, is equipping frontline health workers with life-saving skills to tackle childbirth complications in remote communities. 26 community health workers from across Oro Province recently completed a 2-week emergency obstetrics and newborn care training. The program, co-delivered by medical experts, focuses on managing birth-related emergencies, among others. With limited resources and support, CHWs are often the first responders in rural health facilities. This training ensures they are prepared to handle critical situations, safeguarding the lives of mothers and newborns. Supported by the Australian government, the initiative is part of KTH's ongoing commitment to strengthening primary health care in Papua New Guinea. The Australian Federal Parliament returns with the government focusing on cost of living relief. Buoyed by positive economic figures, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says the year has begun with optimism for what's to come.
Revving up his caucus colleagues.
Welcome back, everyone.
For what could be the final fortnight of Parliament this side of an election.
We begin 2025 with a great sense of optimism.
With the clock ticking, Labor's fast-tracking a childcare bill to scrap the so-called activity test and expand access to care.
Guaranteeing 3 days of subsidised care for every child, 3 days a week.
We're prepared to work with them to make it happen.
With the childcare changes gaining support, the Special Minister of State is hoping to clinch a deal 3 years in the making to cap political donations and bring in real-time disclosures. The argument for change perhaps underscored by the release today of 6-month-old donations data. Illustrating the changing political landscape, Climate 200 backers Marcus Katsaris and Rob Keldoulis revealed to be the nation's biggest donors, tipping around $1 million each into the fundraising vehicle that helped sweep Teal candidates to power. Cardboard King Anthony Pratt made a similar donation to Labor. Gold Coast mathematician Duncan Turpie poured more than $500,000 into the Greens, while Meriton Properties owner Harry Triggerbuff and Hancock Prospecting Chair Gina Reinhardt donated more than $1 million combined to the Liberals. Like the donation laws, the childcare changes won't come into effect before the election. The government's bringing on a vote in part to test whether the coalition will support more cost of living support for families. The Prime Minister today contrasting Labor's plan with the Coalition's policy to give small businesses a tax break for entertainment expenses.
They don't want workers to get a tax cut but they do want bosses to get a free lunch.
We want to see small businesses doing well at a time when we're seeing record levels of insolvency.
The coalition says that's the cost of Labor's plan.
Hundreds of residents in North Queensland have been forced out of their homes as flooding persists in Townsville and Hingham.
About 400 people here in Townsville and north in Ingham spent the night in evacuation centres. This school hall here in the Townsville suburb of Heatley was at capacity overnight. It's filled with residents who've had nowhere else to go during this flood emergency, including elderly people and young children. Now, all of them have come from what's been deemed the black zone in Townsville. That's 6 low-lying Townsville suburbs, which authorities have deemed most at risk of flooding. Now, the people we've spoken to today, many of them feel stuck in limbo as they wait for news of whether their homes have been affected or will be affected. Take a listen.
We got out early this time because we didn't want to go the boat and have the army evacuate us out.
I couldn't sleep well, but I'm glad that we have shelter and food and water.
Well, I've never been in this situation, so I found it a little harrowing.
I'm pretty optimistic, I think. I always look at the positives. Bit of a survivor, you know, you don't look at what you could encounter or what's going to happen or the negative stuff.
Some residents here have been told they'll be able to move into motels maybe from this afternoon or later in the week as they wait to see when they'll be able to return home. Despite the scenario, the vibe here is relatively high. People are in quite good spirits and they've been very complimentary of the efforts that staff are going to keeping them fed and dry. Now, we've heard from authorities that the flood levels are expected to peak in the black zone around 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, but for many of the residents here, it'll be a longer wait than that before they're able to return home.
And that ends our news update. To join us at 6 for more.